Welcome. Today what we're going to talk about is a TIR 2500 series type valve, which is this particular shape. The 2500 series actually covers the 2500, the 2100, and the 2502. Now, the valve looks like this, and all three versions are going to look like this, and they all function the same way. When you receive this valve, you will actually receive a flyer that comes with it. My suggestion, take a picture of this because most people set these aside. What it's going to have is the particular valve number. It's also going to have the gallons per minute, the pressure rating, and it will have TIR information down below for ordering your question should you have that later. Then on the back side, it's going to have engineering specifications. But what's more important is take photo number 2 of this page on the inside, which is going to have your exploded view and your specific part numbers, a question that many customers have. So with that, I'm going to move into one of the main questions we get on this particular valve, and particularly in the colder climates, is how do I keep this from freezing? Two basic methods. The first one is to do the flush out of the valve and then fill the unit with RV type antifreeze, which is your recreational vehicles. Once it's flushed out, it leaves very little residue behind. It's completely different than radiator type antifreeze, so RV solution. The other one is you can disassemble the valve and let it air out for a day or two where the components completely air dry and there's no residing water in it, and then reassemble the valve, and that will avoid the freezing. Now, when we're talking about some of the residuals that are left behind, I want to use this as an example. One of the things people tell me is, I've flushed this valve out many times. I know I got it as clean as possible. The chemicals today use what's called emulsifiers, which basically is a class of waxes. Now, this particular testing, the water actually evaporated from two very common herbicides used in the agricultural industry, and this is the remaining waxes or emulsifiers from those two herbicides. They're as sticky as flypaper right now. So understand that even though you're flushing the unit out with water, there's still residuals in here which can cause stickiness and problems with the valve actuation from time to time. So with that said, we're going to move on to the tools for disassembling and maintaining the valve that you need to have handy. First thing, a pair of gloves, because once you get in a valve, you're going to be dealing with residual chemicals, water, different things like that. Good idea to have a small, sharp screwdriver. You may need a regular tip screwdriver. You definitely need a Phillips screwdriver for the screws on top, which I'll show you in a minute. A cordless screwdriver, provided the first step is turning the torque all the way down to as low as possible, is a very good aid for basically backing out and advancing the screws on that. But again, if you reassemble the screws with the torque turned up, remember you've got metal going into plastic, so problems can arise there. You may need a pair of channel locks depending on the condition of the plunger, some steel wool, WD-40, and possibly a multimeter. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and cut with this, and then we will get into the disassembly and the maintenance of the internal components.
Texas Industrial Remcor, quality valves and controls today and tomorrow.